Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. For today's video, we're going to go through NBA teams that should start planning full rebuild. So as we go through these articles, as the teams pop up, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what these teams exactly should do going forward to, ensure a brighter future, because you don't want to get caught with a whole bunch of bitch-ass contracts and stuff like that. Also, I am using the Extra Crispy setup. Now, guys, Extra Crispy is my second channel. I'm posting basketball content over there every single day. Just got done doing a ranking of all 30 NBA mascots. I do all sorts of stuff with it, man. It's a lot of fun, so go check out that out, guys. I'll link in the description below. Help me grow that channel would be greatly appreciated. And here we go. So this is on Bleacher Report by Dan Favale, I believe his name is right here. And the first team we have listed is the easier said than done rebuilding candidates. The first one being the Charlotte Hornets. So the Hornets are kind of an interesting situation because they obviously have one of the best point guards in the entire NBA in Kemba Walker. The thing is, though, is that Kemba, I don't want to say he's getting old, but I personally think the age of 27 is like your prime for basketball. Like that's like your absolutely like athletic peak and everything. So Kemba Walker, he's not old yet, but he is going to want a max contract. And eventually, for those first few years of that contract, it's going to be extremely well because he's obviously an all-star and stuff. It's going to get to the point where towards the tail end of that, he's still going to put up good production numbers out there, but not as good. So this team really needs to start planning, like, who is going to take over this franchise? Who's going to help Kemba Walker going forward? Because they do got some really bad contracts on that team, guys. They got some bad contracts. Fortunately, I feel like they do have some nice young talent that still just, it seems like they're a few years away, though. Like Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, I still feel like both those guys can be very solid NBA players. I like when Dwight Howard's on the team. I thought he was pretty good for them, but now he's on the Washington Wizards. He's got his own issues out there. So, I don't know. This team is going to need to do something to free up cap space and sign another star to play alongside Kemba Walker. You simply, I feel like James Harden cannot lead the Houston Rockets to a championship by himself playing hero ball. So if he can't do it, as much as I love Kemba Walker, there's no way that this is going to lead to success. So I just feel like for the longest time, this Charlotte Hornets team, they have not been making the right moves, and it kind of relates to what happened with LeBron James on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if Kemba does not feel like he is going to be put into a situation to win, I personally think he should go to a different team. But maybe the loyalty is big to him out there, and he's going to stick with the team, which gotta give him respect for that. Next up, we have the Detroit Pistons. Okay, guys, we got the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, I'm wearing the jersey and everything, my favorite team out there. So what to do with this team? I will say, I was very upset that we did not get Mike Conley. I feel like Mike Conley on this team would have been a perfect fit because right now you have Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, and that is where all your cap space is at. So this team could have, traded away Reggie Jackson, John Lue, or maybe some draft picks, because no draft pick the Pistons are going to get is really going to help this team. The team management is horrible at drafting the right players. It just seems like they're always making mistakes there. And, so by the time any player they get in the draft is ready to, be a big-time player, Blake Griffin's going to be gone, or Andre Drummond is, who knows where he's going to be. He's still young and everything, but still. So I would like to see Mike Conley on this team. I just felt like, I know it's a bad contract, but free agents are not going to come to the Pistons, especially for good deals. So you might as well trade for the guys while you can. So as far as the upcoming offseason goes, Reggie Jackson's going to have 1 year left on his deal. Hopefully he gets shipped away for something. I don't care what at this point. But I almost feel like for this Pistons team to win, because it's not going to be done unless they get a better, more mature point guard. And I don't really know if they have the ability to do that right now. They're too mediocre, but not mediocre enough to get a really good draft pick like a John Morant. You either got to trade Drummond or Griffin, and that's really the only opportunity, man, is to free up that cap space. I personally right now would probably trade Drummond. I feel like he probably has more trade value just because his contract's a bit more friendly, and I feel like, he's younger and, not as injury prone as Blake Griffin can be at times. Now, Blake Griffin is having one of his best seasons. It's just not a lot of teams are going to want to inhale that big, huge contract unless they really think Blake Griffin can get him to the next level. So I'd love to see Blake Griffin go to a team like the OKC Thunder, somebody like that, play with Paul George and Russell Westbrook, but still, it's a tough situation as a Pistons fan right now. It has been for about 10 years now. Next up, we have the Miami Heat. Well, they got Red Tyler Johnson, which was a bad contract. I think they need to make a decision on Hassan Whiteside and Bam Adebayo. I feel like if they trade Hassan Whiteside away or let him, I don't know what his contract is. I think he has one more year left on his deal, which is like $25 million. Goran Dragic, they could probably ship away for, I would just take some second round picks and free up the cap space. Miami is just one of those destinations that free agents are going to go to And outside of Goran Dragic and Hassan Whiteside, you let Bam start at center. You got Josh Richardson, who could be a 20-point per game scorer in the NBA. Justice Winslow at point guard has been great. So maybe you go for a big name like a Klay Thompson or even a Kevin Durant or somebody like that. I always felt like for the longest time since LeBron has left the Miami Heat that the Heat has been filled of players that are really good. Not good enough to win you a championship, but good enough that if you find that superstar player to plug right in there, your team's going to take off to the next level. So I actually think they are in a pretty damn good situation. Do they actually... Oh, yeah, they have Ryan Anderson's contract, too. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be... I don't think it's going to be next season. I think next season, maybe you embrace the tank and try to get a good draft pick, and then after that, you have a lot of money freed up with Ryan Anderson, Goran Dragic, Hassan Whiteside being off the books, or maybe you try to make some sort of trades out there. I guess I don't really know, but I feel like they got some really good players on Miami. It's not the worst situation to be in. Here is Caught in the Middle Orlando Magic Edition. Okay, so there, yeah. So for the Magic right there, Caught in the Middle. Well, yeah, that's a really good way to say it. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts right now, because you got Vucevic, who's gonna be like 28, 29. He's gonna want some good money. He was an all-star. I feel like if you're the Magic, you don't pay that to him because you have Bamba on the team, and it's like Vucevic is not going to get you a championship, so it's time to start now with giving the reins to your young guys out there. Markelle Fultz, same song and dance. It's going to take him a few seasons. Like, hey, yeah, having Vucevic would help Markelle Fultz's confidence because that's like a reliable guy you can dish it to. Evan Fournier is going to have one more year left on his deal, $17 million, I believe. I love Jonathan Isaac. I still feel like he's going to be a great NBA player. He's just, it's going to take a little bit of time for some of these guys. And then you have Aaron Gordon. Now, Aaron Gordon, I don't know exactly where Aaron Gordon fits into this team because he is a good NBA player, but Jonathan Isaac, I feel like, needs to play the 4 spot. You can't put Aaron Gordon at the 3, and Aaron Gordon has kind of a larger contract. It's like $20 million a season, something along those lines. So I understand what this guy's saying, like stuck in the middle. It's like you got some good players, but how do they fit with the young guys? And what direction do you go? Do you go all on with Aaron Gordon and Vucevic and try to trade some of your young guys for some other stars out there? I just don't think that's the route for this team right now, especially with so much great talent in the NBA as of right now. I feel like you embrace the tank and you try to get what you could. I'm surprised they didn't trade Vucevic because Vucevic is probably going to walk unless he gets a really ridiculous contract, but it's like, then what you do with Mo Bamba. So I get it. And then we got Caught in the Middle Washington Wizards edition. Another good one. The reason is because, like, you have Bradley Beal, who sounds pretty loyal. It sounds like he wants to be with the Washington Wizards for his NBA career. Has a pretty good sized contract, but then it's like the next season or two, you are paying John Wall $40 million a season. How do you build around a guy when $40 million of your cap space is just wiped off? Like, you're getting no value back for that. John Wall's not playing. He's not going to play. He's out for a year. So what do you do with that? Trading Otto Porter, I felt like was a smart move. At least you free up something right there. Because I believe he got himself a max contract. So at least that's some money that you can use to sign other guys. Good thing is that Bradley Beal's not like, not like he's in his 30s or anything like that. So, I mean, you still got a few seasons to go with that. So maybe in the meantime, you try to trade away as many bad contracts as possible. Maybe you tank for this season and next, get yourself a good draft pick. And then John Wall, when he's healthy, let him come back to this team, try out, show teams that they still got it, trade him away, or maybe you keep him even. So, yeah, very difficult situation if you are a Washington Wizards fan also. Next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like this one I kind of disagree with. I like Jonas Valanciunas. He's like, 27, 28. I feel like he's going to be a nice center for this team, a good consistent center. Not going to give you superstar numbers, not going to give you Marcus Gasol numbers, but I feel like he can be like a 17 and 11 guy out there, which is pretty solid. You have Jaren Jackson, who has shown signs of being a brilliant, talented rookie. So, is he a rookie right now? Yeah, Jaren Jackson's still a rookie, yeah. Mike Conley, I felt like they kept him around just to be like, more like a mentor to some of these guys out there. I feel like the people don't really put into consideration what it means to have like a veteran like Mike Conley in your locker room, just like keep the team in the right direction, keep everybody on scheduled things. I feel like that's very important. Having it all starts with the point guard, right? The point guard is the leader of the team. So I could see him getting traded though after just sometime during the offseason, just keeping him right now because why not? Unless they feel like his value is going to dip that much. Between now and the offseason, although he's having one of his better seasons of his NBA career. So, Avery Bradley, another good veteran guy to have out there. It's just this team, they need to do themselves a favor and not make the playoffs and just continue to build around Jaren Jackson. I feel like is the perfect 4/ maybe even 5. Maybe that's what his future holds for the NBA. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a difficult one. because I like Karl-Anthony Towns. I feel like Karl-Anthony Towns is like exactly what you want right now with your center, and I'm pretty sure he's playing defense now, so you got that going for you. The bad situation is that Andrew Wiggins, they really jumped the gun on him, guys. Andrew Wiggins is the prime example of investing in a company or evaluating a company based off of potential and not what they've actually done, which I hate when NBA teams do that. So many times, it's like you just overpay for a guy that's like, oh, he might be good, and then that player gets their money and they either reach their peak already or they're not as motivated because they're not going for that contract anymore. They don't want to get injured or anything like that. So I feel like with Andrew Wiggins, it's just too much money for too little of a return, and that is going to hurt this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Not to mention they're in the Western Conference, man. It's going back to the Kevin Garnett days with the Timberwolves. It's like, you always saw this. If this team was in the Eastern Conference, they might be like a top 6 or 7 team. So, I don't know, man. I like Karl-Anthony Towns. Not bad. The Dario Saric is young. He's a good forward to have alongside Cat. You got Robert Covington. Just Andrew Wiggins. They might have tried to unload him, but you're not going to get equal return back, plain and simple. But if you do get that cap relief, you got that going for you. And we got the New Orleans Pelicans. I think this is the last one. Yeah, for the New Orleans Pelicans. So what to do with them, man? This is just a damn... Ooh, it's a bad situation. Okay, so... I mean, they traded away Mirotic. I liked Mirotic. I don't know why they got rid of that guy. I like Mirotic a lot. Drew Holiday has like 2 or 3 years left on his contract. Julius Randle is an expiring contract, so I don't know if they're going to bring him back. They got Jahlil Okafor, who looks like he is going to be something out here in the NBA. But then, of course, the big what-if is Anthony Davis. You guys could have just traded Anthony Davis for all of those Laker young players, all of those draft picks, and your rebuild would have been right on point. Because, I'm sorry to say, I know Lonzo Ball did not really want to play for the Pelicans, but even so, you still would have got something back. You still would have had Ingram and Kuzma. That's not a bad start right there. Combine him with Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, that's not bad. Or you let Julius walk and you trade away Drew Holiday for some draft picks or expiring contracts, and you got the money to build around Kuzma, who I think is a future superstar in the NBA, and Brandon Ingram. You have the money to work with those guys, and your rebuild is just off to a great start. And I just don't know. I guess that's why Dell Demps got fired, because he was being too greedy. He didn't want to help the Lakers build that super team. But damn, put your ego aside. I don't care if you give him Anthony Davis or not. This team was not going to beat the Lakers. So I don't know. I feel bad for the Pelican fans because you guys had a great haul. I don't think you're going to find that as good a haul, because even if you get Jason Tatum, who I think is also a future star here in the NBA, just what the Lakers were willing to give you, you're just not going to find that. You're not going to find that equal value, especially, teams are going to, they already realize that Anthony Davis doesn't want to play for the Pelicans team, so I feel like that kind of hurts his return, especially as you go into the offseason, because that's just smaller and smaller that contract gets. That's just smaller and smaller that teams have to wait to just go out and get Anthony Davis themselves. So I felt like the Lakers, they were pressured to put somebody alongside LeBron James as LeBron is getting older, but a lot of younger teams like the Boston Celtics, they're not gonna overpay for Anthony Davis. They're just gonna wait. So I don't know, guys. Anyway, that is the end of the video right here. If you want to give your thoughts on some of these teams in the comment section below, maybe other teams that were not listed that should go into a rebuild mode, let me know in the comment section below. And remember, guys, to check out my second channel, Extra Crispy, as I'm really trying to build that channel up, having a ton of fun over there. Thank you all so much for watching. Your guys' support as of late has been pristine. Peace out, my friends.